no, my name is Louise. I'm in Tuam, County Galway. It's heartbreaking and it's very, very hard to watch what's unfolding around this country right now in Ireland, and how bad things are, and how at risk and vulnerable all women and children, at risk and vulnerable. No voice, no protection, nowhere to go, no services, no safe accommodation. And there's still it's not being reported on. Still too many people continue to believe the propaganda and false narratives. There's too many Irish citizens that continue to follow orders, continue to be obedient to the traitors that are inflicting it on us, that have sold us out. Irish citizens have no protection on Irish soil now. We've been sold out. The same traitors have pimped out our children to be groomed. So to continue to conform and be obedient to the system of lawlessness is just enabling. They're being enabled. There's still too many Irish citizens enabling these traitors, and they know it. Because people have been beaten down, they're not being heard, they're not being believed, and again, the timing isn't random. It's all escalating right now, and it's getting very bad. In the description, I'm going to put the names of some YouTube channels, independent media, individuals who are doing a great job at reporting news as it happens on the ground with footage. So I'll put the names in the description. There's now 15,300 in emergency accommodation in Ireland. Now, that's not including all the number of on the waiting list all over the country. And this particular group I want to focus on just to give a voice for a minute. And I narrowed it down to give some statistics and some idea of the suffering on the ground and what's been inflicted, that you can't see it in front of you. And the thousands that are suffering in silence is just shocking. And in 2023, there was 11,516 registered charities. Now, charities, that's a lucrative business. And all of them with CEOs and different massive salaries being paid out. Individuals profiting and gaining financially and politically of the suffering of others. And of course, the charities may or may not, they may be exempt from paying tax. Also, certain properties owned by a charity or public body may be exempt from local property tax. So you can see where it's going. Now, that's not charity. Now, this is the definition of charity in Webster's Dictionary, 1828. Like the biblical meaning of charity is agape love, it's called. It's love in action. It doesn't necessarily have anything to do with money. Now, this is the definition in 1828, Webster's Dictionary. And this is the language used, charity definition. Whatever is bestowed gratuitously on the needs or suffering for the relief of others. Love in action, as I said. Selfless, unconditional love, actively seeking the well-being of others, and so on. No money mentioned there. Cambridge definition of charity, an official organisation that gives money and help to people who need it. See, it's been manipulated now, and it's all about money. Money, money, money. Money is God to so many now. Instant gratification. It's temporary because you'll always want more and more and more and more. It's just all temporary. It's just for instant gratification, just for a moment. Now, I want to just look at this particular website. Like in 2019 as well, the funding that government, this is the funding in 2019, 6.2 billion funding to charities in 2019. And look around, where's all that money? It's in the pockets of individuals. That's where it is. Now, this Safe Ireland website, I hadn't heard of it. I just wanted to just narrow it down to some statistics, just to give a voice for a minute to women and children, and women that are they're so beaten down, they're so long not being heard, not being believed, not getting the assistance. Then you're going on websites and you're reading all of this flowery language, and it's painting a very different picture. So the individual thinks that they're a failure if this is true, because it's all false narratives, and it's all just smoke and mirrors. Now, this is Safe Ireland's, I suppose, mission statement or whatever. It has a clear ambition. And this is what they have to say. This is I just took some of the words off their website. We want to end domestic violence and make Ireland the safest country in the world for women and children. Now, to read that, it's almost disheartening. It's like a vulnerable person beaten down reading that is going to feel like they're the only person this is happening to, because this just paints this picture of, Ireland is protecting its women and children, and the opposite is true. An article, June 2021, the Irish Examiner, Women's Aid has said recent reports that Gardaí failed to respond to thousands of domestic violence calls. An internal investigation has found many victims received no help after calling 999 in domestic violence situations. And some of the incidents, now they're not incidents, they're violent crimes, they're heinous crimes, it's criminal, they're crimes. Threat to life. Women and children, thousands of women and children are in a threat to life situation and cannot access assistance or safe accommodation right now because the traitors have sold us out. It's been inflicted. They're being kept in that place just for no other reason than power and greed. That's the reason. Some of the incidents involved people repeatedly calling the emergency line and not getting the assistance needed. Now, in 2014, now this is over 10 years ago, just under 13,000 women and children received direct specialist support from domestic violence support services. In 2014 also, domestic violence services were unable to meet nearly 5,000 requests from women seeking safe accommodation or refuge. Now that's over 10 years ago. And individuals have put themselves in these positions, paying themselves massive salaries, while individuals on the ground. In 2016, 14 requests a day were not met for safe accommodation. And that's like 8-9 years ago. 14 requests a day, while somebody sitting in an office somewhere is lying in their pockets with massive salaries, while 14 requests every single day, and that's 8-9 years ago. It's just that there's nothing now, can't access anything now. Nearly 150,000 came into Ireland last year. Now, regardless, it doesn't matter who you are, whatever, it's a matter of, these are unvetted. Now, nearly half are male, single males, and, unvetted and undocumented. Irish citizens are not unvetted. We have to get Garda clearance for, everything involving women and children. But these individuals can just roam around the place anonymously and do what they want, and there's no accountability. And people in this country, their concerns are justified. They have every right to ask questions, every right to challenge public servants. You can't even ask a public servant, one of these traitors, a question, they get offended. So this is where we're at. There's no accountability. They're just doing what they want and paying themselves massive salaries. And everything on the ground is getting worse and worse and worse. And all the resources are being pumped into bringing or ushering in their diabolical agenda, in particular for children. Now, women and children in December 2023, Gardaí reported it had received 54,000 domestic abuse complaints that year, 2023. That's up 8% on the previous year. In 2024, last year, 65,000 reported domestic violence crimes. That's in the space of 2 years, from 22 to 2024. The reported, the numbers went up by 20%. And that's going to continue to rise, while there's over 11,000 registered charities. And these women and children are trapped in, there's nowhere for them to, that's not living. They're in a threat to life, existing in a state of terror, can't access safe accommodation, cannot get any assistance, because the needs of so many people, unvetted people, are being met first. That's the reality. And that doesn't make me a label, and it doesn't make people, people are terrified. There's parents in this country, parents and grandparents and guardians, that feel they've no choice but to stand outside the school, the primary school their children are in, all day because it's surrounded by unvetted, undocumented single males. And none of this is being reported. So Irish citizens need to wake up. So this is going to affect every single one. It doesn't matter. You can bury your head in the sand, but it's coming to your door. And women and children they've no voice. That's a nightmare to be in. And in their own country, they're being kept in that state by the public servants and the traitors that have sold us out.